How to have a mentality like Cristiano Ronaldo's. You want to know how to have a mentality like Cristiano Ronaldo's? Then get ready, because what you're going to hear isn't cheap motivation. It's not a pretty speech to make you feel good for 5 minutes. This is the raw truth about how the mind works of one of the most relentless men who ever walked this planet. The first thing you need to understand is this. Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't wake up motivated every day. He doesn't wake up full of energy, jumping out of bed with a smile. There are days when his body hurts. There are days when his mind is tired. There are days when he'd rather stay in bed like any normal human being. But he gets up anyway. Why? Because his mentality doesn't depend on how he feels. It depends on what he decided. And he decided a long time ago that he was going to be the best. He decided he wasn't going to let emotions control his actions. He decided that discipline is more important than motivation. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes. Discipline is a decision. It stays. And Cristiano built his entire life on top of discipline, not motivation. While most people wait to feel like doing something, he simply does it. He doesn't question. He doesn't negotiate with himself. He doesn't make excuses. The routine is sacred. Training happens. The diet is followed. Rest is respected. Every day, without exception. It doesn't matter if he's tired. It doesn't matter if he's sad. It doesn't matter if nobody's watching. He does it anyway because he knows greatness isn't built on easy days. It's built exactly on the days when you don't feel like it. On the days when you have 1,000 valid excuses not to train, but you train anyway. On the days when you could eat that junk, but you choose the salad. On the days when you could sleep less, but you respect the 8 hours because you know the body needs it. That brutal consistency is what separates Cristiano from everyone else. It's not talent. There's plenty of talent. It's the ability to do what needs to be done regardless of how he feels. That's called professionalism. That's called character. That's called champion mentality. Now, the second part. Cristiano has a very specific relationship with pain. He doesn't run from it. He doesn't avoid it. He seeks it because he understands that pain is the price of growth. When he trains until he can't take any more, he doesn't stop there. He does 3 more sets. When his muscles burn and his mind screams to stop, he continues. Why? Because he knows that's exactly where transformation happens, at the limit. When you have nothing left and you find something more. When your body says no, but your head says yes. When pain asks you to quit, but you decide you're going 1 more round. That's where you become different. That's where you build the mentality that handles pressure, that handles criticism, that handles defeat and comes back stronger. Most people run from discomfort. They always look for the easy path. They want results without effort. They want the body without the diet. They want success without sacrifice. Cristiano understood early that that's a lie. He understood that everything worthwhile hurts. It hurts in the moment, but it pays off in the future. So he embraced pain, made it his ally, transformed suffering into fuel. Every time someone doubted him, he used it as energy. Every time he lost, he used it as a lesson. Every time he failed, he used it as reason to train more. Pain never stopped him. It always pushed him. And if you want to have mentality like his, you have to change how you see pain. You have to stop avoiding it and start seeking it, because that's where you're growing. Third thing, Cristiano doesn't compete with anyone except himself. Does he look at Messi? Of course. Does he respect him? Yes. But the real competition was always internal. Did I train better today than yesterday? Was I more disciplined this month than last month? Will I break my own records this year? His obsession is to be better than he was, not better than others, better than his previous version. That changes everything, because when you compete with others, you're always dependent on them. If they fail, you win without deserving it. If they quit, you win by default. But when you compete with yourself, there are no excuses. There are no shortcuts. Either you improved or you didn't improve. Either you did the work or you didn't do the work. It's black and white. And Cristiano lives in that brutal clarity. Every day he asks himself, did I do everything I could today? And if the answer is no, he feels it as personal failure. It doesn't matter if the team won. It doesn't matter if he scored. If he knows he could have given more, then it wasn't enough. That demand on himself is rare. Most people are complacent. They make excuses. They justify mediocrity. Cristiano never did that. He never allowed himself to relax. He never gave himself the luxury of saying, "This is good enough." Because for him, it's never good enough. There's always something to improve, always something to adjust, always something to correct. That might seem obsessive, and it is, but that's obsession that's kept him at the top for 20 years. While others from his generation have already disappeared, he remains relevant. He continues to score. He continues to win because he never stopped improving. He never accepted that age was an excuse. He never said, "I've done enough." He continues hungry. He continues unsatisfied. He continues chasing perfection, knowing he'll never reach it, but that the pursuit itself makes him better every day. He continues chasing perfection, knowing he'll never reach it, but that the pursuit itself makes him better every day. And here enters the fourth essential characteristic of Cristiano Ronaldo's mentality. He doesn't care what others think. Sounds simple, but it's not. The social pressure to be normal, to relax, to not overdo it is enormous. Everyone around you will say you're working too much, that you need to rest, that life isn't just work, that you should go out more, have fun, enjoy yourself. And if you listen to those voices, you'll stay average. You'll be like everyone else. You'll have normal results. Cristiano blocked out those voices a long time ago. When his teammates went out to celebrate, he stayed to train. When they told him he was overdoing it, he ignored them. When they made fun of his dedication to his body, to his diet, to his rest, he didn't care because he knew something they didn't know. He knew that mediocrity loves company. Mediocre people can't stand seeing someone give everything. It makes them feel bad about themselves. So they try to pull you down. They try to convince you you're wrong, that you're exaggerating, that it's not worth it. But Cristiano understood that those people will never be on the podium with you. They'll never share your glory. They'll never feel what you're going to feel when you get where you want to go. So their opinion is irrelevant, completely irrelevant. What matters is your vision, your goal, your dream. And if you have to disappoint some people along the way, then so be it. Because at the end of your life, you're not going to answer to them. You're going to answer to yourself. You're going to look in the mirror and ask, did I do everything I could? Did I give everything I had? Or did I let other people's opinions limit me? Cristiano chose not to limit himself. He chose to follow his path regardless of what they said. And they said a lot. They called him arrogant, selfish, obsessed, narcissistic. He heard it all and used it all as fuel for the fire. Every criticism was more motivation. Every doubt was more reason to prove otherwise. Every time they said he couldn't do it, he went there and did it. So if you want mentality like his, learn to block out the noise. Learn to focus on what matters. Learn to ignore those who aren't in the arena with you. Learn to value only the opinion of those who truly understand the subject and want the best for you. The rest is noise. Fifth thing, Cristiano has an incredible ability to transform failure into learning. He lost finals. He lost important games. He missed decisive penalties. He had moments when it seemed like everything was going to fall apart, but he never let failure define him. He always used it as information, never as identity. When he missed a penalty, he didn't think, "I'm bad at penalties." He thought, "I need to practice more penalties." When he lost a final, he didn't think, "I'm not cut out for this." He thought, "What can I do differently next time?" That shift in perspective is huge, because most people, when they fail, they internalize it. They assume there's something wrong with them. They lose confidence. They start doubting. They enter a negative spiral. Cristiano does the opposite. He externalizes. He sees failure as feedback, as data, as something that can be corrected with work. And he goes back to the gym, back to training, back to preparation, stronger, more focused, more determined, because he knows that failure only defeats you if you stop. If you continue, failure is just a temporary obstacle. It's just a curve in the road. It's not the end. It's just another test. And Cristiano always passed the tests. Not always on the first try, but eventually he passed. Eventually he won. Eventually he proved he was right. Sixth essential thing. He has an unbreakable routine. He doesn't improvise. He doesn't leave things to chance. He knows exactly what he's going to do every day. What time he wakes up,
what he eats for breakfast, when he trains, how long he rests, what he eats for breakfast, when he takes a nap, when he trains again, what he eats for dinner, what time he goes to sleep. Everything planned, everything controlled, everything optimized for maximum performance. That might seem boring, it might seem robotic, but that's exactly what allows consistency. That's what eliminates unnecessary decisions. That's what saves mental energy for what really matters. Because every time you have to decide something, you spend energy. If every day you have to decide what to eat, when to train, whether you're going or not, that's exhausting. It creates internal resistance. It opens space for laziness to enter. But if the routine is set, there's no decision. You simply follow. You simply do. And at the end of the month, at the end of the year, you have absolute consistency. You have results that others don't even dream